All right, we are back, you guys, with Beyond the Barbell episode 7 with another member, Erin. Erin, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do, and we'll chat a little bit.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. My name is Erin Abrigo. I'm a financial advisor here in Gig Harbor with Edward Jones. This month, I'll be celebrating my 8th anniversary.
Yay. Oh, I didn't realize you had been there that long.
Yeah.
Cool. What did you do before that?
Real estate.
Oh, nice. So I had Erin on. Erin was another one that I've been trying to get on for, I don't know, I think for over a month now. The weeks are packing on. And I wanted to have Erin on because I like having people on to these episodes talking about stuff that I think is really relevant right now and something that people are talking about. And so we've had medical professionals, we've had frontline workers, we've had teachers, and now I want to talk about the financial side and kind of, why don't you talk about what just you're seeing and kind of this last, gosh, we're so far into this now, 51. So basically the last month and a half, how that has looked and what that has been like for you week over week over week.
Well, the first 3 weeks started off a little differently than things are now. When the market was absolutely crazy, and dropped, the biggest 1 month drop I think we've ever seen. We spent a lot of time reaching out to clients and trying to be proactive and just identifying how the current market conditions were affecting their long-term goals. What does that mean for them? Do they need to make any changes? And taking care of anything around kind of individuals and their situations. Then we've kind of shifted gears and trying to reach out to people who don't have an advisor or who have an advisor who hasn't reached out to them, and just trying to be a resource for them. Can I answer any questions? Do you have a long-term goal, and what does it look like, and how has this affected it? Are you in quality investments, or do you have any idea and don't know where to start? So just kind of shifted it since the market's stabilized a little bit, and just trying to, reach out to those people who need help and be a resource for them. Yeah.
Yeah. People really have advisors that haven't reached out to them.
Absolutely. In times like this, there's a lot of advisors that hide. It's hard to have those conversations with clients when you're with them and you're opening up those statements together, or looking online and seeing that they're down 15%, or, that they've lost, money. And those conversations aren't fun, but they need to be had. They need to be told why. They need to be told what it looks like. And, some of the silver linings in it, you can buy things at a discount, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Speaking on that, I've heard a lot of people talk about that, say like, oh, now's the time, to get into investing or to invest some of that extra money you have. Is that kind of the thought in your industry?
Yes and no. It really depends on people's individual situation. I'm a little bit old school, and I want people to have the 6 to 8 month living expenses in their savings account. I think for so long people have forgotten about this, and then times like these come along and they haven't had it. And the times like this is the reason why we need to have it, and making sure that the other ducks are in the row. Do they have life insurance? Because a catastrophic event can do more damage than, not putting a little bit of money in the market. So just making sure that the things that need to be in place are in place before they just start dumping money in the market. And then making sure that what they're buying is, quality investments at the end of the day.
Right. And how does that look like in terms of, well, actually, but let me back up. You always hear as you're growing up and through the market that once you do have a retirement or something in the stock market, that you just kind of ignore it, right? Like you ignore the downward times because it's going to come back up. Is that also the case right now?
Well, you got to think of it that there's always tried and true principles, but there's also new and true. So markets change, people change, scenarios change, people lose their jobs. So there's always situations that could cause a need to relook at what you have, where it's at, how it's invested. Is it the right thing for your scenario? I mean, it's it's really got to be individualized to each person.
Yeah. And what about, we were talking about a few minutes before we hopped on this call, we were talking about also the difference in like the generations and the age groups. You have, you have 55-year-old people who are already retired. And
Right.
what does that look like compared to a 55 or a 60-year-old who's still working? What does that mean for retirement? What does that mean for the job market? What does that mean for the young person? What does that mean for the middle-aged person who still has their job and really nothing has changed?
Right.
There's a lot. And what are your thoughts on that? And what are you seeing?
Well, ideally, that if you were within a few years of retirement, you would have had a safe money bucket already set aside that wouldn't have been in the market. So we always say the worst thing that you can do is pull money from your investments when it's on the way down. That's the absolute worst thing you can do. So if you were within that time frame or getting close or already retired, you should have had a safe money bucket that you can pull money from that is not in the market, that is not affected while we wait this out. So if you're just about to retire or have already retired, hopefully that's the scenario. If you're in your 40s, now's the time to double down if you can. Like you said, good opportunities. You got to think about it. You're buying more shares right now, so eventually it will go up and you can own more shares. If you're young and just starting out, if you've got the other things checked off the list that we need to have checked off before you start investing, starting with $50 a month, starting with whatever you can is going to make, a huge difference in 20, 30 years. Just getting started and getting into that habit of saving and investing is key.
Yeah. And it's not something, we don't need to be like scared of it right now, right?
No. I always say, like, because someone will ask, well, can it go to zero? Like, can I lose all my money? If it's a quality investment and you know what exactly it is, I always relate it to, so, if we own Procter and Gamble, well, are you still brushing your teeth and washing your hair and doing those things? Well, the answer is yes, kind of no matter what the market's doing. So taking a look at, there are some investments that absolutely could go to zero. We saw that in 2008. But again, that's where quality plays in to a lot of things.
Yeah. And what are you seeing in terms of saving and investment, and who is doing okay and who's not? Is it really, does it matter what age you are? Or, we were also talking about that before we started the call, in that, I feel like my parents, they've been through a few recessions, and most of them grew up with parents that have been through the Depression. Does that make a difference? Are you seeing that?
I've always kind of found that if you know how to save money, if you were diligent through your working life and were able to create a nest egg and whatnot, then you understand the market fluctuations and you understand the long-term goals, and you appreciate, what the money can do for you. But you also have the other end of the spectrum that we've read a report one time that said the average 50-year-old or the average 55-year-old has $50,000 saved in Vanguard, including retirement. So that's scary. That's eye-opening. And there's everyone in between. It's just, that's why I say starting early, making sure that you've got things going and set up, out of sight, out of mind, get it going monthly, just makes a huge difference.
Yeah, especially now that all those buckets that of people are getting money from in terms of government assistance and stuff, those are all going to be very, very strained. So
and I was going to say, a lot of our parents had pensions. Pensions are virtually gone now, or very few people have those. And that's what a lot of that generation is living off of. And that's a little bit scary that, the ownership of the saving for your retirement is now pushed on the individual. And a lot of people aren't taking it seriously.
Yeah. I always say, I was talking to my husband about it, I always say that I think that every generation kind of has to go through something like this, like we're going through now.
Absolutely.
Because it changes your behavior if your behaviors were not something that was going to be smart in terms of your financial well-being.
Right.
And I think that's what we're seeing right now, is that if you didn't save and you're in a hard place right now, I gotta think that that's going to change behavior, or I hope it is.
I would hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, other than that, how is your working out going?
You know the answer to that. Not very well. I will say, so like I said, so those first couple of weeks when the market was crazy, I was working a ton. The only thing I could do was come home and walk, because it wasn't something I had to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So I was walking at least 2 miles a day. So doing something, but it wasn't necessarily as much as I should. I'm trying to get back into it. I did yesterday's workout. So
yeah,
I have literally no equipment. So
yeah,
if I have to look at something and think, okay, how can I replace that? I'm most likely to toss it out.
Hey, I messaged you about a bar. I still have your bar sitting here. So just stop by and grab it. I still have it. It has your name on it and everything.
Okay.
I know. It is tough. I miss the group, and I miss having people down
Absolutely.
here. And I think we were also talking about before, for everybody else, is that Erin too, we both have really busy lives and busy families and kids around the same age, and we are enjoying that aspect of just slowing it down. Like, I feel like our family went from like fifth gear to all the way down to like first, which is actually super fun. It now feels like we have 3 days wrapped into every one. And so I hope that we can find a place for that to continue. I don't know. I spend a decent amount of time every day thinking about that. Like, how are we gonna keep our lives, some things the same right now when things kind of go back to normal, I guess.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure that it can ever, I'm sure it will go back and we'll get back into the groove just like we were, but I'm just trying to enjoy every day at this pace, because it probably, the next time it'll happen, it'll be my kids are out of college and I'm sitting here with our deal board.
yeah, we'll be really old, and they'll be telling us we can't come see their grandkids because of quarantine or something like that. Yeah, we can hope. I hope so.
Right.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad we finally got to sit down, and I'm glad that you guys are still working and
me
busy
too.
and taking advantage of this time. And hopefully we'll all be together soon down here, right down the road from you.
Yes.
All right. Take care.
All right. Take care. Thank you.